Hello, welcome back to the Hoard. We got another video, and this one is about a movie that we both recently saw. Styles has seen several movies.
I've seen at least 10 between January 1st and now.
My goodness. Well, today we're going to talk about Send Help because it's the only one that I've seen. You can kind of tell, you know, the movies is not my realm. Like, I enjoy them and stuff like that, but I'm not like seeking them out the way the Styles is because I've seen one new movie this whole year, and like we're into March. So
I feel like that's, average for most people. Most people might see one movie in theaters a month, maybe if that.
Yes.
I remember growing up, going to the movies was a treat. Now, for me, it's like,
this is what I do.
Maybe once a week or something. Like.
What is Send Help for those who haven't seen a trailer or whatever? It features stars Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien, and it's about
Essentially, long story short, they work at this, corporate company. It's one of those like Fortune 500 companies. Dylan O'Brien, he plays a Nepo baby who inherits the company when his father dies. And he's like the classic frat bro, Nepo, privileged, kind of guy. He really does a great, phenomenal job in
making you dislike him. Yes.
And then Rachel McAdams, she's been working at the company for a very, very long time, and she should be in line for like promotion to VP. But she's like incredibly cringe, and so even though her work ethic is the best and on paper she should be promoted, Dylan O'Brien, he's like, I can't put you in a meeting with other people, and so I'm going to promote this one of my other frat bros who's only been working at this company for 3 months. I'm going to promote him to VP.
I mean, I think there was one point, they do such a good job of making you dislike him, because there is one point where he literally says, like, I am disgusted by you. Like, those are, like, words that comes out of his mouth in, like, a professional setting, at the office. And
he's basically treating the company like I keep saying country, the company as his, like, personal playground or whatever that makes him money.
And it's really messed up. Like, they, like, at the beginning of the movie, there's a very much like, this is the person you should hate, this is the person you should sympathize with. And then it's interesting because by the end of the movie, that is like kind of completely turned on its head.
It's a very unique take on it. Definitely didn't go the way I thought it was going to, but it was definitely refreshing. Anyways, the actual plot of the movie is they end up on a plane together. It's like a private jet. It crashes, and they are the only two survivors on this deserted island. And she's got the skills to survive, and he does not.
It's basically kind of a comedy, kind of a thriller. So it's like a dark comedy thriller, basically. It's very dark, like, and it's also very gory. I feel like they took the gore to like its upper edge, like, honestly, like, where things probably shouldn't have been as bloody as they were. You were just like, whoa. It was almost like if it wanted to be like, if Quentin Tarantino made comedies, which, I mean, some of his stuff is comical, but I wouldn't call them comedies, like, I would have been like, did Quentin direct and produce this movie? Because this is a lot, right? Like, and
they do a lot of good work of showing some gory stuff on screen, and then do a lot of showing things off screen, and like maybe we just see blood spatter, and so then it's really left up to your imagination, which is going to be more powerful than what anybody can show on screen. And so I did like the balance between those two things.
So basically, the plot of this is just, it centers around like power dynamics, and different depictions of that. So the first being the power dynamics in a workplace setting, and then power dynamics on this remote island that presumably there's no other civilization. And so now you have to figure out how to live there. And so...
Not live, survive.
Yeah, survive, rather, yes. And so where I feel like the movie kind of, like, for me personally, like, jumped the shark, or like just had like some unnecessary...
Before we get into the plot, I do want to mention the actual actors. One, I'm glad Dylan O'Brien is finally back on the big screen after his injury. I loved him since Teen Wolf when he was Styles. It's part of the reason why I go by my last name now. Anyway, so love him, and I'm so glad, and he did a great job. I also think that Rachel McAdams did a wonderful job of playing cringe and unhinged, because up until this point, I only see her play, like, pretty female lead and, like, cute and, like, all that stuff. Even though she's a, like, phenomenal actress and will put her all into a role, this was the first time where, like, they let her just be fully cringe. And even there was moments where I was repulsed. And I was like, oh my God, it's so gross. Like, he's being an asshole to her, but at the same time.
It's not all completely unfounded.
Right.
Like,
she reminds me of my 4th grade teacher, my target teacher, who wanted to be an astronaut for like so many years, who I could just imagine, like, there's a scene where Rachel McAdams is home alone with just her bird, and she's like doing the Lady and the Tramp with the bird or whatever, and like watching Survivor and like just really training and prepping. And I was like, oh my God, that's my 4th grade target teacher alone with her bird trying to be an astronaut for NASA. I was like I just got flashbacks. It's okay, nobody liked that teacher. She was the worst. And so I just was like, yeah. So for me, I was like, yeah, this is very cringe. And then we get to the island, and she starts thriving, and then becomes so unhinged. And I'm like, Rachel McAdams, you're doing a great job. You are Jim.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think she did great, and I like Rachel McAdams in pretty much everything I've seen her in. And I liked her in this. She did, I mean, she sold this role. Like, she sold out for this role, and like, she was like, I'm doing it, and I'm doing it all the way. Where I feel like the movie to me like really kind of just like took a left turn that was like unnecessary, like was like the fact that they kind of made Rachel's character want to have some sort of romantic relationship with Dylan O'Brien's character, because they hinted at it a little bit when she said like, oh, he was flirting with me at the Christmas party. He probably wasn't, or maybe he was, because he's an asshole and he likes the attention. And so like obviously they're playing on this like delusion that she has, and I understand that, but I think it would have been a way
upped it more.
Well, they should have
shown us the flirting, or I mean dropped more seeds if they were going to take it that way.
Yeah, because I don't think it needed to be in there at all. Like, the interesting part of the movie, or like this movie was like just a little bit kind of just, it's just weird in general, but like if you wanted to look at it from like an academic standpoint, the interesting part of it was this interplay in power dynamics and the shift in their roles. Like, that was more interesting. So had at the end where he's trying to obviously escape the island because he wants to get back to his like cushy life, and he wants to get back to being in control and being the one who has all the power, like, she obviously doesn't. She wants to stay. And like, had her reason for wanting to stay would have been like this continued wanting to exert her power over him and wanting to make him feel powerless and like make him feel indebted to her. Like, to me, that makes more sense and is way more interesting to think about than, oh no, I want you to stay here. Yeah, I want you to stay here because actually I'm in love with you, I think, because I'm delusional. Like, like they didn't play that up enough. And then, like, because they didn't play it up enough, like, it wasn't needed. And it, like, kind of took away from things. Because you get to the end where, like, you're in this whole, like, the movie is, like, coming to its climax. They're having their last major battle or whatever once he realizes that she basically has trapped him on this island and they could have gotten off weeks ago. And, so now they're, like, really fighting it out at this point. You're like, oh, wait, he's able to talk her down with like, oh, but I love you? Like, are you kidding me? Yeah. Like, I just felt like everything that we were building towards and like, it just like was not, like, it basically just.
A last minute rewrite or something that.
Well, it was just like another thing where like we've talked about this before with like Netflix films and stuff like that, where it feels like it's just been like, not workshopped.
Focus group.
Yeah, focus group to death. Like they had a viewing or some focus group or whatever. It was like, oh, like it's a woman and a man trapped together. It has to have something to do with like romance and love.
But we didn't need it
like
because we already had the Blue Lagoon movies. There's like 3 or 4 of them where we already have that.
like it was so unnecessary, and clearly like they brought it in because like somebody talked to somebody who talked to somebody who's like basically had not had an original thought in their head, who was like, well, this gotta be love. Like, no, it doesn't. There are plenty of women who hate men. And like we already know there are plenty of men who hate women. So like it didn't need it, and it was like way more interesting without that. So that was like one of my big quibbles with it. And then the other part of it was like, I don't know how to feel about the ending. Like, I don't know. What did you think about the way it ended, like literally all the way to the end? Like, what did you think?
Them like fighting in the house, I thought that was cool. I liked that scene. Like the flashback of her finding it and like showering and like all that stuff, and then him realizing. I thought that was really good. Yeah, the love part was a bit shoehorned in there, but overall I liked that bit. And then at the end, where spoilers, where she basically just murks him and then takes over. That one, I felt her taking over the company. I was like, they planted the seed for that early because the black dude supported her in becoming VP, and like he knows, and other folks up above know that like there's now a power vacuum because all of the upper folks have died on this plane, and so she is the only one who has been running this company for months. So her taking over the company, I was like, that makes sense. I would have liked to have seen how that happened and like kind of maybe just how that conversation went.
Black dude is Dennis Haybert, by the way.
Yeah, the Allstate guy from Love and Basketball.
Yeah, he was a shitty, cheating dad.
Yeah. So that really, it didn't piss me off really, and I was like, I can understand where this came from. I think on the whole we needed more. I think to make that work, there was something that was missing, and I can't really articulate what it is because I didn't get it. But something that was missing that would have made that work better, whether it was just an extra scene or something. So I wasn't really, I didn't really mind it. I think there could have been alternate endings where they both died on the island, like a War of the Roses type deal. And then I think I would have enjoyed that more, especially because she is an unhinged murderer and has to date murdered 4 people and has now been giving like all of this power of this company. Like, I think
4 people. Oh yeah, I forgot about her husband. Yeah. I mean,
well, he didn't deserve to die, but he was abusive, so she was like, I just let.
Yeah, I would feel like that would probably be more like manslaughter or something.
I let God's will happen.
Yeah, because he basically just like drove drunk, and she didn't stop him.
She usually would hide his keys from him, and this day she took her keys out of his purse. She unhid them. So it'd be different if she didn't hide them and he grabbed them and she just let him go, but she like deliberately unhid them. So there's a bit.
So.
But anyways, I might have would have liked it better if it had a War of the Roses ending.
Yeah, the ending for me, like, I don't know, I'm very like ambivalent towards it because there's like a part of me that's like, it didn't feel earned. Like, had she only killed Dylan O'Brien, I would have like been decently satisfied with this kind of like reinvention of herself, because I don't know what goes on once she comes back, but like somebody teaches her how to like improve her self grooming, because I mean it's not even just like the dressing. Like, he made fun of her because of the way she dressed, but there are plenty of people who like don't care about what they wear, but it's clean and it's nice and it's washed. Like, but yeah, like her personal grooming, that was like the main problem with her, and like the way everybody treated her. But like,
beautiful Rachel McAdams is, because she looked foul and still was beautiful.
But so she clearly after she leaves the island, she's since like killed Dylan O'Brien. She leaves the island, and then she like somehow like gets herself together or whatever, which like begs the question of like, one, why wouldn't you have done that before? And I understand like not playing to the expectations of assholes and losers. I get that, but like we're talking about personal grooming, not like so like it begs the question of that. But then it's also like you're supposed to feel like, oh, this strong woman empowerment moment. She's like taking control of everything. She's taking back her life from like the assholes and all of this stuff. But like, because she killed his fiance and that poor like boat tour guy who was like taking the fiance around to try to find Dylan O'Brien, like all of it to me felt like super unearned at that point. And like I also like my ambivalence comes in the fact that like she was full on in the throes of her delusion at that point. Like she's been on this island for a very long time. She wants to maintain control of this situation, and she's somewhere in the back of her mind she has this like idea that her and Dylan are going to become a couple or something, and she doesn't want to let go of that, so she then murders people who are there to rescue him and her. But like then we get to the end and there's like clearly no remorse for that. There's clearly no like there's just, it's just, now she's like back in the world and she's like lauded and applauded and all of that stuff, and like
well, she got the moment of fame that she'd been wanting by being on the Survivor show. So, like, her survival skills came from prepping for that show. So it wasn't just like, oh, I want to go into, like, the remote deserted island and survive. Like, she got that dream. But then also, like, she wanted the fame and glory of, winning that show. And this was kind of like her IRL version of it. So I do get a bit of that, but I think a montage of someone helping her wash her hair or some shit would have. But she was a lot better groomed on the island. So
it's just hard, like, for me, like, I just don't know that, like, her happy ending was like completely earned. So I guess like similar to what you were saying, like maybe I would have been like more satisfied with like a War of the Roses situation, because like at the same time I don't think that Dylan O'Brien learned a thing about humility or like empathy or caring about other people
from beginning to the end.
Which is
that's realistic.
Yeah, which is fine. The point that I'm making though is that like I'm not rooting for him. So it's like, it's not that like I wanted him to win in lieu of her winning. It was just that like, I don't think either of them, once the full story is told and like revealed in its like entirety, deserved a happy ending, quite frankly. Like they both ultimately sucked. Like she completely descended into like a full-on murderer or whatever, and like it's just like what,
there's no accountability for that.
There was nothing.
So what's the moral of the story?
Yeah, and I mean I guess not every story has to have a moral, I guess, but like for me I just was like, what was it all for? Like, and what there was one part too, I like had a thought just now actually about like her personal grooming and like just the way that she was kind of living. Like she definitely felt like she deserved more, but there could have been a part of her like self-consciously like in the back of her head that wasn't fully taking care of herself, because maybe there was a deep down part of her that felt a little bit of guilt about her husband. Like maybe she was kind of doing like some self-punishment, and then like once she got to the island,
down too. Like I think she realized some messages from that.
Probably definitely, because he sounded like a very abusive asshole. And so like so with that I do feel like it was maybe that's why when she comes back she starts to take better care of herself, because she's like kind of worked through those issues on the island and like really kind of like started to feel more self-worth for herself. Even though she's super capable at her job, she still could tell her self-esteem was like really low at the beginning, and like after surviving this ordeal and winning out against him, you could tell that she felt like way more confident and in herself. And so like maybe that's why she started taking better care of herself. But like quite frankly, like none of it was deserved. Like I'm sitting there watching her do her perfect golf game, which was hilarious because Dylan O'Brien was like obsessed with golf, so it was like really nice. like I get why they did that. Like I thought that was a little bit funny, but like quite frankly I feel like they both should have just like, I don't know, fallen on the swords together or something at the end. So that was like a really wild movie. And it was like entertaining. Like, I mean, in the fact that like movies are supposed to be entertaining. Like, it was definitely entertaining.
From really
like,
beginning until the epilogue. I very much liked it. I liked the plane scene. Them laughing at her in her face.
That was
like,
ooh.
I was like, no, that's a bit low for anybody.
Yeah, that was messed up.
To not only be laughing at it, but then turning around looking at her and then pointing and laughing at her
while she was actively saving their ass. Literally like their business like was like fixed, like really.
But then we get the scene where the plane is crashing and she just like closes the window on the guy. Like,
yeah, well, because he was like actively trying to unbuckle her out of her seat so that she could fly out instead of him. Like, when I say these men were like the worst of the worst, like they sucked. And but like when we talk about like the goriness and the grotesquery, when old dude like kicks his friend's face and like all his teeth come flying out, and then like when she shuts the window, it's because the guy who was trying to pull her out of the seat has like flown outside, but he's still like attached to something like his and so like he's banging against the plane, and his like face is like just every time it bangs gets like more smashed up, and she's just, like it's something else. And
I like that scene.
Yeah, what did you feel about how did you so the part where she like poisoned him and like paralyzed him, did you really think she was like castrating him? Because I full on was I bought in on that. I thought she did.
She was castrating him, and I was like, "There's no coming back from this."
Same.
Even when it was a fake out, I was like, "There's no coming back from this." So at that point, I was like, "He is like whatever goodwill they were building with each other.
It's gone.
It has been destroyed." And so at that point, that included me in that. In the ending,
somebody was gonna have to go die. Yeah,
not both of them. And then as she started murdering more people, I was like, I thought this could be a War of the Roses, and they both just end up dying, and then did it, and I was like, okay.
They didn't take the more interesting ending that they could have. Yeah. They basically just were like, we're not gonna they were like, we're not gonna subvert expectations at all.
I did like that scene, and I like that scene that's the scene where like the gore is like kind of off screen, and we just get the blood splatter, and so it's left up to your imagination. Mm-hmm.
Which I think made it better. Yes. Yeah, that was something that directionally they did really well.
It was all Dylan's face. Like the best acting is right here.
Yeah, and you could just like see his horror and like tears coming down.
And it was great. It was phenomenal. That was one of my favorite scenes in the movie. But what I liked the most about that scene was that they talked about, it was like a blue-ringed octopus and how it paralyzes you. In the book series that I read, that's like 39 books.
Oh, that one, yeah, okay.
No, not that series. The other series written by that same author. It's only 20 books. Oh. They do genetic splicing with animals, and one of the girls, she was genetically spliced with a blue-ringed octopus so she could paralyze people. And so I literally, when they said, she was like, he was like, couldn't move or whatever, and she mentioned blue-ringed octopus, I said, he's paralyzed! I was like, trying not to like lose my crap. I was like, I know that! Yeah, I got excited.
I feel like we need to just like have a movie a video where we just like talk about this series, because I feel like every time you bring it up, something more wild and ridiculous is going on. Oh yeah, very casually. Oh yeah, they do genetic splicing with animals. Like, yeah. Okay, like, all right, continue. I guess like.
It's a fun series. It's my
comfort.
My brain off.
Yeah.
Comfort.
True Murder Bot series. Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, what the heck? Send help. I probably will never watch it ever again, but like it was entertaining, and it was one of the first times that I've been to the movies. It was the first time I've been back to the movie theaters, because I actually, like Style said, they go all the time, but back in the day when we were children, it was like an event. You went like once a month or something. It was a treat. Yeah. So for me,
went there early so that you could get the good seats, because there was no assigned seating, and then you got to see all the previews. And
we would sneak in Burger King and also get like I used to always get a cherry freezy with the popcorn, so like the salty sweet mix, coupled with like my Burger King burger, which I hate Burger King now, but. Back in the day, it used to be good. But anyways, so this was like a treat for me ever since my husband and I had the baby. This is what we did on Valentine's Day, and we're like, not gonna lie, low key we're really sad that this was the only thing out in the movies, but we were like, we want to go to the movies. So we went to see Send Help. We'll probably never watch it again, but it was interesting.
It's funny that y'all watched that on Valentine's Day. Me and my bestie, we watched Wuthering Heights on Valentine's Day.
Oh.
And since that is like a love story, love tragedy, whatever, there were so many couples that walked in. I literally looked at her and said, we are in the wrong. We also saw Goat that day too, so we actually saw 2 movies that day. But
Goat? I don't know that.
That's the animated one where they're like, there's a literal goat who wants to play basketball pro.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I remember that. Yeah, I've seen the trailers
small,
for that.
He's technically a medium. They call him small.
Yeah, I didn't want to watch Wuthering Heights. because I don't know. For one, I don't like that book that much. I don't like books that just like end in tragedy. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if I yeah, like I do read like nonfiction and stuff. Like, not every book I read is like quote unquote like an escape from like reality all the time. And yet, if it's gonna be a fiction novel and it's supposed to be like a romance and at the end they die, like, I'm sorry, it's just not for me. I don't like Romeo and Juliet for that very reason. There are some other Shakespearean plays that I really like.
It's actually a comedy. It's a tragic comedy, and when I read
Well,
it from that lens, then I can enjoy it. But
well, the funny thing about it being a comedy actually is that like comedy just means that it ends in a wedding or a feast. So basically, it's like it's his non-tragic stuff doesn't necessarily mean it's funny. But I'm glad you thought it was comical, though.
It was comical.
Yeah. Comical in like the present day sense and being funny, not Shakespearean sense. But all that being said, so that was like the main reason why I didn't want to read Wuthering Heights. But then when I also found out that like Heathrow, I think that's his name. Thank Lord help me, Heathcliff, was not black or of color in any type of way, I was really frustrated by that because that was one of the main reasons in the book that like not the main reason, there were a lot of reasons why he was unsuitable, but that was one of the reasons, was that he was very clearly like a mixed race, bastard. And like I don't like it when they do whitewashing in any movie.
I watched a video where it was like some people trying to critically analyze it, and they said that, I'm sure y'all have seen that the movie was actually supposed to be Gone with the Wind, which is why there's a lot of parallels to it.
Really?
But because Gone with the Wind is pro racism and pro slavery and like all that stuff, that wasn't gonna fly, so they changed it to Wuthering Heights and kind of adapted it, but it was supposed to be.
And I guess they'd already cast this guy. I guess I don't know. Yeah,
I guess. But
yeah, that's interesting. I did not know that. But yeah, so that's why we chose not to watch it on Valentine's Day, and then had to get traumatized by Send Help. So it was a very romantic evening for us. Yay!
Wuthering Heights was a fun watch. Even though it ended in tragedy, I didn't actually care about the story of it. I thought, again, the acting was phenomenal. Because even though we weren't here to talk about this, but really quick, since you said the bad things, I like to say the wins. Margot Robbie did a great job playing a teenage girl who has aged up.
I do love Margot Robbie and pretty much everything. Margot, not Marco.
Yeah, I've never read Wuthering Heights. I had no idea what it was about, but I was like, I know that there's an age gap between Jacob Elordi and Margot Robbie, and so I was like, what is this story about? And then she's supposed to play this teenager once I found out, and I was like, isn't she like in her 30s now? But she did a great job.
I feel like they always do that. Everyone in their 30s plays like a teenager these days.
She did a great job being the flouncy, privileged, self-absorbed. Like, I was like, this is great. Jacob Elordi, I really thought he was going to get typecast from Euphoria, because after that, the next thing I saw him in was Kissing Booth, where he basically played the same character, which is a privileged white boy who sucks. Kind of toxic, and so I thought he was good. But then we got Saltburn, and then Frankenstein, and now this. I said, oh,
he's the Frankenstein guy.
Yeah, he's the Frankenstein monster. So I was like, I'm very proud of him. So he's doing a great job. And visually speaking, the movie was very fun. It reminds me of Poor Things, if you've ever seen that. It's not to that extreme, because Poor Things, they basically just, you need to watch it. I can't even really explain it. Visually, it is a stunning movie. Every single detail in every single scene, every single shot.
Oh, I actually do really want to watch that.
It was a good movie. It's also a Frankenstein type movie.
Yeah.
It was really good. There's some things in it that I was like, but for the most part, I very much enjoyed it. That was what year did that come out?
2023.
Yeah, I think that was one of the best movies that I watched in 2023.
Yeah.
It was very fun.
Maybe we'll
Wuthering Heights it doesn't go as far as Poor Things visually, but with the costuming and the scene work, they were like, we could set this in a Pride and Prejudice type realism, and I don't think it would have done any kind of good at all, because I would be like, I don't like the story, it's boring.
Yeah.
Even though the actors are doing a good job, the story to me is very boring, and now you put it in this realistic set, I wouldn't have liked it, but because they really pushed the boundaries and leaned more into like a surrealism type setting, it was a very fun watch. Visually, it was fun to look at.
Okay.
Story-wise, I was like, I'm over this.
Okay. Well, that's good. All right. So this video will be titled "Send Help" and "Wuthering Heights." I feel like we spent a lot of time on that, which is fine. It's great. I love like where these videos kind of take us in discussion. So like it's a lot of fun. But yeah. Yeah, so that was our thoughts on Send Help. Let us know what you think. I feel like I'm getting worse and worse at like wrapping up these videos.
I think
like,
it just might become part of the framework and fabric of the video. That we don't fully know how to start it and we don't fully know how to end it.
We do our best.
I tend to be winging the middle a little bit, but
we do our best. But yeah. So, anyways, that was that. Come back. See us next time in the Hoard, where we'll be talking about something else, probably.
Peace.